welcome back to part 2 of the dating wrong versus marrying wrong conversation. We're continuing to talk about red flags and things you should look out for when looking for a partner.
Yeah.
So how are you able to tell if a relationship is not a right fit for you? Or how have you been able to tell in the past?
For me, peace. Lack of peace. Because for me, the way God speaks to me, there's many ways, but one of the ways is just that inner peace. And I remember when I was thinking about calling off, some of the reasons that prompted me, I lost peace. And when I mean peace, it doesn't mean that things are perfect. Like, I'm peaceful now. I don't have everything that I want. I'm not rid of trouble. I'm not rid of problems. But there is, I don't know how to explain it, but there is...
I don't know if you mean that nagging feeling, because for me, when there's that nagging feeling at the pit of your stomach, it's not right.
Exactly.
You can't put a finger on it, but you just know that there's something missing.
That is the Holy Spirit speaking to me. Because you just feel like this cannot be it. There's something wrong. And for me, I feel when that happens, that is God prompting me, look deeper. So for me, peace, lack of peace, is one of the things that really helps me to see. But also, I speak to my mom a lot. I'm quite close with my mom, and I feel like mothers sometimes, not all the time, because not all mothers are right, because not all of them wish you well.
Yeah, and some of them don't. There's a difference between a person who advises you from a point of oversight, a point of experience, a point of wisdom, and somebody who advises you either from a point of fear, a point of projection.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So not all adults know it all the time.
Yeah. So for me, I've been privileged that me and my mama are quite close. So I talk to her. And she will not advise me, she will not say do this, but it's like she is a sounding board for me. And of course, the third is my therapy. I am able to, because deep down usually when something is not right.
You do know, yeah.
But you need permission or maybe someone told that mirror to you to show you that you can actually make that decision for yourself. Especially if you have been in a situation where you've made a wrong decision before, you may doubt yourself. So for me, I think being able to have that space with my therapist where I can just open and just say this is it, and she helps me work through it, has really now helped me. But in the past, really, it was just about peace. Yeah, that lack of peace where God is telling you, good, you're going down a wrong road, and I listen.
Okay. For me, if any time I find myself having to compromise on values, core beliefs, things that are big and non-negotiable for me, but you find yourself in a relationship where you're compromising on some of these things, like I know for a fact that a non-negotiable for me is intolerance. Cannot stand bigotry, cannot stand holier than thou people, all of that, and sometimes you find yourself in relationships where you're compromising on some of these things. Exactly. It could be ideologies, ways that ideologies you have about life. Like there are people who will be like, children must suffer. Practice, because life is hard. Those things, they must hand wash their clothes. Those things. No, but there are people in this day and age who believe that.
Thank you, Jesus,
that children should go to boarding school in P1, so they can learn hard work because life is hard. I'm like, look, there's no practice for suffering. So for me, anytime
suffering doesn't mean you'll be successful.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Also, as human beings, when we're thrown into the deep end, you will swim. We're born with a survival instinct. Exactly. You will try, even if you've never washed a day in your life. When you're stuck with a pile of dirty clothes
and nothing to wear, you
know what I mean?
Think of a way
you will figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
So so that finding yourself compromising on ideologies is a no for me.
Yeah.
Lack of trust.
As for no, for me, all those things come in one. Because if lack of trust, for me, it would have to be a long distance relationship. I cannot be there chairing meetings and I'm worried about who my partner is running around with, where they're doing. Are they telling? I can't. I have to choose one.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, either trust them or don't.
Or don't. I can't. I
And
really
then,
can't.
have you ever been in one of those relationships where you feel like you're not growing? That ever since you started that relationship, you're
Yep, it's
stagnant. It's like it's sucking your soul.
Luckily, I haven't. And I'm going to boast a bit here. I'm a Libra, and there is something about, how do I say? I think naturally I am very good at inspiring and encouraging and spurring on people I call out greatness easily in people. So and I like to, even with my partners, it's something I naturally do. So usually when I partner with someone, they will definitely be their very best. So luckily I've not been in a space where I feel like I'm sucked out, but I have been in a place where I feel like I am doing a lot of heavy lifting emotionally. So it's not necessarily that I'm stagnant, but I feel like this person is not growing emotionally, or they're not, I don't know how to say it, but like they're not rising up to the occasion, so
You're doing all the heavy lifting.
yes, exactly. Like they're not being reflective enough for the benefit of the relationship. So you could say a bit of stagnancy in there, but
Okay. And how do you communicate that? Like when, you're not having your needs met, there's certain things that you'd like differently in the relationship. How do you communicate that to your partner?
The beauty of being older and being intentional is that you find your voice. I think that I have found my voice in my relationships. In the past, I was scared to come off needy. I was scared to come off too demanding. I think because I had maybe been told that, every time I'll try to date, like, oh, your standards are too high. You're too high.
And you find yourself sort of toning down.
Exactly. And so I had, toned down. But then I remember I dated a Ghanaian guy. We dated for a short time. And one of the things that came out of that relationship, and I'm so grateful, was he helped me find my voice. He was a very secure man. And every time something would happen, like, tell me, talk to me, what am I, like, he would force you to talk.
I stand a man who likes to hear what is on their partner's heart. If you're out there and you're man and you're like so that, attractive. Bambi.
Yeah, it was very attractive. So I feel like that relationship helped me find my voice. So now I'm quite open with my needs, and I find that the people that I've dated since then have been very appreciative of it, because it helps them also to meet your needs, and also for them to feel like they're not failing in the relationship. So I simply communicate. I simply say, look, babe, this is not working, and this and this, I don't shy away anymore. Yeah.
Oh, that's such a nice thing. I wish that for every single woman and every single man to be like that, to be receptive, because men have, not all, but a lot of men have a habit of shutting down.
Exactly.
When it comes to emotional conversations, I don't know if it's because they don't have the bandwidth to.
I don't think they've been equipped.
Yeah, to take it. Or I think sometimes also do you think maybe sometimes it has something to do with how we do it?
I think it has a lot to do with how we do it, but also how we do it, the timing, the tone, but also the person on the other side.
If every time you try to open up, they shut it down, or they change topics, or they, there's those kinds of men who joke. Turn everything into a joke. Worst. You're trying to have a serious conversation about how you feel, and
they're joking about, or even they get sarcastic about it, so that translates to you like, your needs are not really that serious, or you're overreacting. So then in the long term you stop raising your voice. But if you have a partner who has created a space for you to actually voice your needs without him being offended, or without him feeling like it's a reflection on him as a person, because I'm not saying you're failing, I'm not saying you're a bad human being, I'm not saying you do.
This is just how I'm
receiving what you're doing, and all I'm saying is that, look, babe, this is how it's translating to me. And then I'm not saying that you are. There's a book that I read that I feel like changed my communication. It's called keeping your connection on by Danny Silk. And in that book, he breaks down communication and how to communicate your needs to that person, and also how to receive when someone communicates that their needs are not being met. Because most times we immediately tell it about ourselves. Oh, I'm a failure. I'm not doing, you know.
But it's not about
it's
you.
not about. They're not saying you. This is how they are receiving your actions. You know, so you really have to be very mature about it. And I feel like not many people are mature.
Yeah, emotionally mature.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's very true.
Yeah.
Okay. So as we wrap up, what advice would you give someone who's looking to date, looking to find a partner?
Wow. Oh, that's a book. But I think it's very important to know what you want. Because I'm known to sound very tokenistic or very, how do I say, not materialistic, but it's just like going to the market to buy clothes. You either window shopping or you actually shopping. So if you're window shopping, that's a whole different ballgame. I'm going out to just see what's on the market. You know, I'm not quite serious about it. I may buy, I may not. If you're looking to actually buy, you're going to Woolworths, you're looking for a white t-shirt that is short-sleeved in size extra small. So you're very clear on what you're looking for. So I feel like we have been told, people have lied to us that we don't have to be very intentional about dating. We have to just go and see what is out there, and then whatever is out there is what we'll receive. For me, that's a lie. I feel like if you want to date, be intentional about it. Know what you want. Know your non-negotiables. Know what you will put up with, what you won't put up with, and go dating. Yeah, because then it helps you to not date wrong. It helps you not to waste time. And it helps you to choose the right partner, because then you're like, look, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this. If your list is realistic or unrealistic, that's a different conversation. But just be clear on what works and what doesn't work for you, and do not be ashamed about it. Yeah.
I would say work on being the best version of yourself.
That's true.
Because we all want, you know, a partner who this, a partner who that, but are you a good match for that partner when you meet them?
That's
you know?
a good one.
When you meet this person, are you in your best shape or form emotionally, you know, spiritually, all these things for this person?
Yeah. That's a very good one. And I also think another thing that I would say if you're looking for a partner is in terms of demands, like we've talked about in our past episodes, in terms of the material things that a man can give you or whatever. Like, I feel like provide those things for yourself first before you expect them of a man. If you want business class, have you paid for a ticket to fly business class before? Before you expect a son of Adam to cough up those.
That's true, because you know you might even meet that business class man in business class.
Because if
you're not going to meet him in economy.
Sorry. Looking for a man in a certain who meets a certain, like you want a man who is working out, as you've said. Do you work out? You know, I met one of my exes in the gym. He bought me water for a year. I was like, you know. So like, put yourself. Be the person that you want to be and attract that person. I think as you just say, like don't put your life on hold, waiting
until this person stumbles into your life and then your life starts. Yeah.
If you are into reading, join a book club. You know, do not. For me, I feel like most times as women, when we are looking, we wait to be picked. Don't live life, pursue your dreams, do what brings you joy. The man will find you as you're living life. Yeah,
that's a good one. I think another one would be open-minded. You know, step away from your usual type. Step away from, you know, the usual place where if you're always looking to find your man in Volt or
like a bar,
or wherever. Do something else, like she said. Do those hobbies. If you like hiking, go for a hike. Maybe you'll meet your partner there. You know, just change your routine a little bit, but also be more open-minded to other people, because the partner, your perfect partner, you know, the man of your dreams might not come in the shape or form that you think.
Yeah.
So don't limit yourself to
That's true.
a certain type or, a certain, just be open-minded.
That's true. That's true. Another that I've remembered is, I know we sing a lot about it here, but do the inner work. However way that looks like for you. The truth is we all go through life with shame, with pain, with trauma, with lots of disappointment. And unfortunately, if we do not take time to unpack those things, they manifest in your relationships. So sometimes, I'm sure most of us broke up with men that they're not necessarily not good for us, but we were operating from some of our shame points,
or a trauma point.
And maybe you grew up in a place where you were poor. You're not maybe not as privileged, and now you want a man who's privileged because you fear to be poor. So you're like, I can't date a man who does not have this amount of money, and then you end up dating wrong men.
Just because they meet that one thing, but all these others
exactly. But then when you unpack that thing, you realize actually it's not even about money. It's about a fear you have absorbed from all of this. So I feel like there's not one single advice we can give, but I think that just being intentional about it, educating yourselves about marriage, because I feel like we spend all our lives in school studying about how to be a good lawyer, how to be a content creator. All of us are learning how to use your iPhone best, but how much are we investing in learning about what a good marriage looks like? There is a lot
and
of
your part, the role that you can play
because
in
really that's
creating.
all that you can control. You can't control what your other person brings. So I feel like just being intentional, broadly, generally about the steps that you want to take.
And my last one would be take your time. Take your time. There's no race. It's not a competition. There's no timeline. I keep saying timelines are fake. There's people who have met their partner at 50. And they're perfectly happy and in sync. There are people who have met their partners at 38, 40, So there's no timeline. So because if we limit ourselves to a time, I need to find a partner by the end of 2023, right? That leaves me 8 months. And in those 8 months, the men that I will have met by then, I'm going to make one of them the one. Do you know what I mean? When you open it up and, don't give yourself a timeline. Take your time. Take your time, because it's a big decision and it can have a massive impact. I
know the comments, people are going to be like, but children, the biological clock and what and what and what. And the reality is that it is a real concern. As a woman who's 34 turning 35, and what science says, the reality is real. Sometimes your eggs, don't. But also it does not mean that every 35-year-old is infertile. We are seeing people who are 26 struggling with infertility. So I think that if that's a concern that you have about children, do the medical.
It's true. Explore other options as well. There's also other options.
Explore other options. Talk to your doctor and your gynae if you have that privilege to find out. Okay, do a test, a viability or eggs test if you're approaching those ages that science says your eggs reduce. But then above all, trust God, because we have seen people who give birth at 38, 36,
45, 47. 50. I know someone who got pregnant with twins at 47. She was just like, what?
Exactly. So if you fear to leave it to chance, as explore those medical things, but also I think taking your time is I have no regrets whatsoever for not marrying younger. I have no regrets. I mean, there is pros and cons to everything, but I have no regrets. Do you?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I mean, I'm so glad that I got married when I did and that ended, and because it's not a small decision. It's not the kind of thing that you should rush into.
Exactly. Just because society says you're expiring.
All right. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Please share with us your thoughts in the comments. Share with us your experiences. Any red flags that we haven't talked about, please let us know in the comments.
Yes.
Otherwise, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone else who would benefit from this conversation.
I'm sure there are many.
See you next week.
Bye.